Hi, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How about yourself?
Fine, thank you. How was your week?
It was all right. It's all right. It's close to finals, so I'm getting busy, but it was good.
Okay, great. All right. So, did you have enough time to practice this
Yes.
week? Okay, great, wonderful. Okay, so what are you going to play for us today?
I'll first play the Bach Prelude and Fugue Number 20 in A minor from Book 2,
Yes?
and then I will play the Valley of the Obermann by Liszt.
Okay, wonderful. How is it going since last time?
It's going well. I still struggle on the octaves, but I've been doing the pinky and thumb alone, swinging and doing the different rhythms.
Okay, great.
Every day.
And how's the prelude?
The prelude is getting better. I practiced the second half
Yes.
more this week, and then I tried taking all of the voices of the fugue alone, so that I could really hear what was going on and emphasize the harmony, and also try and push like a wave on the opening.
Oh, great. I'm happy to hear that. Are you sufficiently warmed up?
Yes.
Okay, great. So therefore, I will let you play, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. I really enjoy listening, to you. Lots of progress. How do you feel?
I feel like the fugue is getting better. The fugue is getting better every week, so I'm happy to see that. I'm still trying to work on the trills. Some of it was better this week. Other times the trills are still more pervasive than what I want them to be. But I'd like to keep working to try and achieve that finger articulation.
Yeah. The prelude was much better. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, the second half one, I tried to make it less clunky than last week.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to work on getting the right atmosphere and making it musical.
Yeah. I think that you had good variety in dynamics. How do you feel about that? I could distinguish more the major from the minor.
Yeah. And I always have to remind myself not to sustain and then make sure that when I am making a dynamic change that it is conscious and
Okay, let's analyze. What are the things that you were happy about your performance, and what are the things that we can still improve on?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'd still like to improve on the trills, or at least making them less prevalent, making sure that the other two voices get their chance to be heard.
How did you practice your trills, by the way?
Well, I tried going through each voice
Yes.
alone, and then keep holding all the notes down, and then after I did this,
Yeah.
it would be. And then doing different rhythms with that, and then doing and then getting
Good
faster.
idea, and also it helps to shift your position a little bit. Phrase your trill. Da, 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 da. Trills become heavy when we stop phrasing them. La, da, 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 da. And when you phrase, you shift positions. Also, every trill is a little different.
Right.
For example, so this trill might be a little different from, for example, here. Not easy to. And then, there are some differences in trills.
Right.
And it depends also on where they are located too. For example, could you tell me? Could you tell me? Point out a place where specific places where trills are different. And it depends on the keys too, whether it's minor, major,
Right.
at the beginning of the phrase or end of the phrase.
Right. So these two would be different than this section of trills, because these two, the trills are happening. These are special, while these are part of a sequence of trills. And the same thing goes for this spot. But for example, like here, when I find this to be a very special chord, and so this trill has to have the momentum to lead it into the B flat.
Hey, that's it. So therefore, trills can instigate the movement, and in other places, trills can help to
Keep lay back or
exactly relax a little bit, right? So therefore, we have to make the difference. And you have this long build-up. Did you notice that?
Right.
This long build-up, and there is so much tension.
Yes.
And the trills helps to promote the movement, helps to promote the build-up. Da 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 da. Can I take your place?
Of course.
Yeah. Now. Here, see, so build-up starts here. The dissonance, B flat A, very pungent. The dissonance highlight what? Highlights the tension, highlights the expressiveness, highlights the drama. So therefore, the trills is almost like an alert. There is a kind of underlying thread here, which culminates here. As opposed to, let's see, what would be a good place where the trills relax? Oh, here. Because there is a sense of a resolution here. So a little lighter. Instead, here it had more of a sense of urgency. So, but it must never become heavy, or we must never have the feelings that the trill is stopping the movement. Excuse me. At the beginning, so therefore, very nice. You started very well, good authority, but I think that it needs a little more flexibility still. Okay? Push your wave, and you did. No, you don't need to do that. After all, this is part of a phrase. It's not da, 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 da. And the way you played was very nice, but it was too separated from each other.
Okay.
Cello, cello, cello. Therefore, the trills are a little different. Either they promote the movement or they are more in the background. That measure would be a prime example of being more in the background. They have to be light. Which instrument would be good to do the trills?
In that register, or
yes, in that register.
I mean, a viola da gamba or a viola.
Something very light, right? I perceive them more like vibrations. And it's not. This. Kind of light, like little frills, on those costumes. They were wearing costumes with the buttons and all these beautiful decorations and brooches, and those ornaments are supposed to be like that, kind of light and enhance over costume. At the beginning, like a question. It's like a question but with authority. So G sharp. What's that?
The leading tone.
The leading tone. And do we have A immediately after that?
No.
No. What follows next? Da, la, 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 la. More question, right? Until the other voice responds. But then it becomes also a question. D sharp is what? The leading tone to?
To E.
Exactly. And again, he doesn't respond, until here. And the answer becomes a question. Again, with like Bach, everything is like a circle. Question becomes answer. Answer becomes question. Question becomes another answer. And he always he endlessly varies. That's what makes his music so, so perfect.
Yeah.
I think that you can, let's try that one more time, for the sake of interpretation.
Sure.
The technique is getting better and better. You are going to continue to work on the trill. But I think for now, because we are working on the style, even though the trills are not going to be up to speed yet, let's try to phrase them. And then you have to take the trills in context. For example, here, you know that that's very dissonant, right? Oh, It's like a bell which goes out of tune,
Yeah, yeah.
bell of doom. So remember, la is very powerful, but it's also flexible. That's better. Could you feel more the invisible relationship between the notes?
Okay.
It feels like that da, da, and I think that they need to have more connection. Da, 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 da. Even if you play them detached, it should have a tension. It should have a kind of a yearning for the next note. Da, da, da. And I still perceive them as the way you play dum, dum, dum. You know, it's almost like someone who says, clean up your room. And they are not going to say clean up.
Yeah. I won't do it that way.
The G sharp is like room, you know?
Yeah.
And for once, I will ask you to feel, you know, to place an emphasis because that's a leading tone. It's not a nice leading tone. It's dum, da, ra, sustain, da. It's not a diminuendo on the way down. In the contrary, you know, it's more, you know, it's a more bossy in a way.
Yeah.
That's better, thank you. Very good. And another thing that I would like you to highlight is again the direction of the subject. It's so easy to lose track of one voice when there are so many notes going on. So therefore, you have to make sure da 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 da, and then again da da. The shape, you have to shape the subject every time. And at the same time, we talked about the overall picture and the details, right? So you have to coordinate that. You have to be the conductor.
Right.
You have to be able to see the overall ensemble, and at the same time, be able to identify and refine a flute part, bassoon part, etc.
Right.
Okay? Let's try one more time. That's okay. That's better. I could perceive the shape of the subject more. That is so easy to miss it.
Yeah, the entrance.
And this one is different from the other. What
Yeah, it's
in
not the same. interval.
in what way? Da, da, da. And also, you know, something is missing, no? It's a fourth, right? You know,
Right.
da da, da da. What is missing? It seems that something is missing.
The first note.
It seems like it, right?
You're right.
Yeah, da da. Why does Bach do such a thing to us? Huh?
For surprise, for suspense, for.
Yeah, it's almost like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is he chopping off the first note? Weird. I look everywhere. Everywhere. Is there anything? What should that mean? The first note.
I'm sorry.
What should that mean? The first note. Before this.
Oh, it should have been. Well, it should have been. G.
Is there a G?
No. Well, there's a G right there.
But it's
But
kind of.
it's not. It's not.
Yeah. Could it
can't
be?
really-
Could it be like he's hiding something? Like why does he do that? You know, it's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Tricky mind. Da 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 la la. Surprise! It's like a thief hiding behind the bushes. You know, the bushes of notes, and then I'm here now. I'm here. I'm here. You know? And you cannot catch me.
Yeah.
Could we make it like more of? It's almost like a mystery novel. Okay?
Right.
Would you like to try one? When you know, when I and we still have a week, you know, before the jury.
Yeah.
It's like a new guest. You know? When we introduce a new element in a family, what happens? I mean, when a new guest arrives in your house, what happens? Does things go smoothly at first?
No.
What happens then?
Sometimes a little awkward. People don't talk necessarily.
Exactly. But we have to rework the dynamics, right? The
Right.
family dynamics in order to welcome the guest. And that takes time. What I'm trying to say is that when you have worked very long on a piece like this, and you introduce a new element, the old things will fall apart.
Yeah.
But then you are an advanced student, so you can, you know, incorporate a new thing slowly and gradually. You know, you will become more natural at, you know,
Right.
at expressing the new element without losing the old things. Okay. Da, da. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is slow.
So, yeah. Slower. Yes. Yeah.
So slow, like a violinist. Violinists, they go very slow. Okay. I have an idea. Remember the ghost playing? Did we do the ghost?
Yes.
So therefore everything, you ghost everything except for the G and the E, A, B.
Okay.
Very slowly. Oh, the G. La, B. Good. Now let's try, you know, sounding everything. I think that you can exaggerate for now. Exaggerate the subject.
Okay. That was better, so you'll have to work on that, Right.
okay? The ghost, you know, playing will help you. But, you know, before I couldn't hear any, you know, the subject at all,
Right.
so. And that will come with time. You have to listen to yourself many times, practice slowly, 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 and what was buried will finally, you know, emerge from the ground, okay? Would you like to try now? Let's start from another space, okay, for
Sure.
the sake of time.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Subject. Da, da. That's it. That was better. Your trill was, a little heavy, and here especially, and here especially. So therefore, try to speed up the trill a little.
Okay.
Instead of thinking 2 notes at a time, did you think of playing them in groups of 3? Kind of gradually increase the speed.
Oh, I see. No, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, like when you practice slowly, instead of always thinking 2 notes, you can sing 3 notes and then 4 notes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can vary a little. You are doing always. You can try different speeds.
Okay.
That's much better. Did you hear it? You are able to play the trill very, quickly and lightly, but I think that you're following the other voice. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to maintain. It's, as I told you, it's separate and yet it's together.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's almost like an organization, a school, or any organization, a restaurant, or whatever the business is. Everybody must do their work, and yet they have to coordinate their work in relation to each other for a common purpose.
Right.
And what is happening is that you are letting yourself to be too influenced by your co-workers.
Right.
So as a result, you lose the lightness of it. You have to be able to separate, and at the same time, enhance the other voice.
Sure.
Yeah. So therefore, if you can, it was much better, you see? I
Yes,
think that we are
yes.
thinking about that. So therefore, you have to be able to coordinate different types of touches. And then guess what helps is, again, slow. Slow always helps. Slow is fast. Fast is actually slow. I mean, in terms of practice, of course. Okay, good job. Do you have any question?
No, I think.
Oh, okay. So we are going to, reinforce everything, but lots of progress.
Thank you.
So jury would be really good.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.